Hi everyone. I have a little unboxing in store for you today. If you don't know me, I'm Marie-Noëlle Worm. I'm an artist illustrator, also a top teacher on Skillshare, and I like doing unboxings. So if you feel like painting along, grab your sketchbook, grab some paints or whatever art materials that you have, and let's get into it. So the package that we have today is an Amazon package because I got a gift card for my birthday, and with this gift card I purchased a few art materials, one of which I knew I definitely wanted and one of which I was very curious about. And so just to be clear, I'm actually not going to do the swatches for both of these things in this video because I think that'll make a video that's a bit too long. So I'm going to actually cut this up into two parts, and so you'll be able to see the second one a little bit later on. Make sure you like and subscribe in order to get notified when the second video is out. So this is the Iridori Japan Spring Holbein Artist Gouache set. This is what I'm going to keep for the second video. I'm very, very excited to try these out. But I thought that we would already have enough time on this one to explore this specific thing that I got, which is 48 Neopastels by Caran D'ache. And I'm going to be honest, to some extent, I kind of worried about this purchase because I have never tried Neopastel, so I have no idea if I actually like the texture, if I'm going to be happy with this purchase. And so it was kind of a shot in the dark, and regardless of that, I'm still very excited because I love Caran D'ache's range of colors. The luminance colored pencils are some of my favorite, and so I somehow felt a little more confident that I would still enjoy these. So why don't we get into this? Going to grab my cutter so that we can open this up. I'm going to try to be delicate so that I don't ruin the cardboard box. Went a bit too delicate. I've been recently exploring pastels more, soft pastels as well as oil pastels. The only other oil pastels that I own are some sticks from Sennelier, and I absolutely love them. I love how they're this kind of a cross between drawing and painting, and so I thought this would be super fun. But I have to say, I am a bit of a sucker for these sets. I really do love having a nice big range of colors, and this one felt particularly fun. And I have to say already, the colors are just so beautiful. I'm very excited about this. All right. Should I swatch all of them? This will be a long video if I do that, but it could be fun. So maybe I will. Why don't we do this and this, or rather in this direction. I'm going to start off with these blues and just work my way down. I actually love these colors next to these ones. So this is a malachite green. Oh, and that is very nice. It's quite similar to my Caran D'ache Neo color, but with a slightly creamier consistency, I'd say. And I would actually be very curious to see how they would work together. This is a cobalt blue imitation. Sapphire blue. Oh, I forgot. I skipped over my Prussian blue. Oops. Got so excited that... Very nice. I think that these will be a good complement to my Sennelier because since they're slightly harder, I can probably do some more detail work with these ones. Whereas the Sennelier, they're so soft, which I absolutely love. And so that means also that they're more difficult to do detail work with. The colors are really vibrant. I hope you can see that. I'm gonna bring it down just a little. And has that characteristic, very pigmented aspect of the Caran d'Ache, which I love. That purple is really quite beautiful. I've been more into purples lately, which is not a color that I used to gravitate towards, but I'm finding them more intriguing recently. Oh, I'm making them more and more like smaller and smaller. I guess we'll just keep going, but in this direction so that we can have all of them. Oh, maybe I should tell you the names of this one's Carmine, because of course I think you can buy these all individually. I know a big set like this can be on the pricier end of things, so it can always be a nice thing to just test one out. That is Scarlet, and this now is Vermilion. Vermilion, which is a nice orangey red. And a flame red. Orange. And I'll also maybe try to, once I've swatched all of these, oops, my fingers are a bit dirty. The fun thing with oil pastels is to use your fingers, like finger painting. The one thing that I'm going to try to do is also mix them, just to show how they blend. That was a golden yellow. This is a yellow. And a lemon yellow, colder. Very excited about these colors. Salmon is a color that I use a lot with my Neo colors. And so that's actually, yeah, like I said in the beginning, it's one of the reasons that I decided to go for this set is I really do trust Caran d'Ache's selection of colors. I really love them. Salmon pink. And since they are oil pastels, I'm pretty sure they're not water-soluble oil pastels, because that exists apparently, which I've never tried. But so what that means is, like, let's say if I'm using my Neo Color 2, which is water-soluble, I could use Neo Color 2 and oil pastels and have the Neo Color 2 dissolve a little bit with the water, but the oil pastels stay solid. Beautiful color, this one. This one is a light purple violet. Oh, and this previous one was just a pink. Really love these. Now we're moving on to a mauve. Yeah, I'm really into purples at the moment. And here we're getting into some of my favorite, like the blue violets. This one is periwinkle blue. A really lovely in-between color. Sky blue, or in French, lavender blue. And a light blue. Turquoise. They are very nice and creamy, but a little bit harder than the Sennelier. Turquoise green. I have to admit this is a color that I do not often play with, but never say never. Jade green. Ooh, that's exciting. And I'm guessing it's a good idea to, you know, kind of rip this paper so that you can have a bigger surface area. I'm always doing that with my Neo color. And I choose to do it in the direction that's further away from the number so that I can always more easily find that number that I'm looking for if I want to restock. I'm not going to do that for all of them here, but I would usually. Nice range of greens here with a nice kind of yellow green. Perfect. Grass green. This is one that I would not usually go towards. Emerald green. This is the kind of green that I tend to prefer. And then this one, beautiful dark green. I'm also very excited about this bottom range, which is more neutral colors. Always a big fan of neutrals. I think they pair beautifully with brighter colors and can add a little bit of complexity into your paintings. We have some nice light gray. I would say a slight blue undertone in this one. Regular gray, which also I'd say has a blue undertone. And a dark gray. Yeah. I don't know if you agree with me, but I find that all three of these have a slight blue undertone. The black classic. Always a favorite. Raw umber. This is a color in my Neo color that I love. Absolutely love this as a replacement for black. If you want to keep a little bit more of a neutral, but you want to warm it up a little. We have some brown, like a mocha chocolate brown, and a sanguine or russet. Slightly more red. Ochre. Always a great color for landscapes. Even though it's some color that I think a lot of people shy away from in general. Olive brown. Ooh. I like that one a lot. Very nice. Moss green, which I remember from my Neo color, and which I really like as a Neo color. Olive. Which definitely has a greener touch than the olive brown. And these two I'm very excited about because these are some of my favorite colors currently. This one is, oh, a yellow olive. And a light olive. Beautiful. Finally, some pale yellow. Wow, love that one. Very cold pale yellow. And orangish yellow, which is kind of like my brilliant orange in gouache, I find. So, we have some really beautiful colors here. I'm very excited about all of these. Should we try to do a few little mixes? Just see how they play with each other, how they blend and mix, and when you're using it more thinly or more thickly. Let me try to get some of this paper off. And then I might try to play with it with a little bit of Neo color as well, just to see how they interact. So, what if we did some of that with this one? Sorry, that is a dog barking in the background. I don't know if you hear that, but nice. So this gives a nice idea of how it can blend. Really beautiful, muted sort of brown. Seems like you can layer them a fair bit. The dog seems a little upset. All right. So one thing that I'm actually enjoying with these is that my fingers aren't getting as dirty as they do with the Sennelier oil pastels. Obviously, because they're a bit harder, they don't transfer as much to the fingers. But wow, there's some really, really nice blending capacity here. I also like how you can kind of get a sense of the movement of the marks. So you see I'm doing kind of circles, and you're really getting that in the mixes. And then what if I layer this lighter color back on top of the darker color? Of course, the order in which you blend is going to have an impact on your piece. We have some blue here, but I would like to have kind of a lighter blue. So I'm going to first just try and layer some of this light blue, and then I'm going to add some white on top of that. It's actually prettier than I thought with these other colors. All right, and the white. And of course, I actually saw someone recently in a video clean their oil pastels. So just take like a piece of like paper towel and then just clean off the tip. And I was thinking like, wow, that's something I never do. I always leave mine really dirty. But it's true that especially for white, the white gets dirty very fast. So it can be helpful to really clean it off in between uses. But yeah, you see how you can really get that nice movement in the marks. I'm also going to, because I have a little bit of blue left over here, I want to see how light I can make it. Since white shifts very quickly, you really only need a tiny bit of color if you want to make it. Really cool. All right, and why don't I try it finally with a little bit... Oh, oops, sorry. Maybe you can entirely see that. Apologies. Why don't I try it with some of my Neo color here? And I'm just curious, do I have any water? I have some like dirty water. I might just try and explore. See how that works. So white is a color often in paint that you have to restock a lot because whether you like it or not, you end up using a lot of it. But I'm very curious to see, because obviously my Neo color dilutes, but the oil pastel won't. So that can make for some really interesting interactions. Am I right? Because the oil will push away the water, but you can get some really nice textures in there. That's fun. How about, there's a color I love in my Neopastel. Sorry, in my Neo color. Where is it? This one. Oh no, not that one. Where is it? Here it is. Beige. I'm actually surprised that they don't have this color in the Neopastel. They probably do as a single. But it's a color I dearly love. Has such beautiful warmth. And what if, oh, I'm very curious, what if I try to layer my Neo color over my Neopastel? So it works a little, but not very much. It's more like scratching off some of that oil. It's still kind of working though. Really interesting. And we can play with some of this salmon, which I love. So it does layer very nicely on top of it, but you still get that color shining through a little bit. So you can see how that is a little bit duller than the pure color. Interesting. So yeah, there's some interesting texture interactions here. And also, of course, once it's dry, you can decide to go over the more watercolory Neo color. Bring out some of that, those colors there. And even continue layering on top. So yeah, there's a lot to play with. See how that blue undertone really shines through here, especially next to this corally, well, salmon, I guess, more than coral. But and you can let more of it shine through underneath. Really play around with how those marks the difference between these like more straighter kind of chaotic marks than these rounder, tight marks. See how it shifts the mood. There's a real difference there. It's quite beautiful. All right. Thank you for playing around with me with these Neopastels. I hope you enjoyed that. And, oh, it's a little bright. And yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on Neopastels, if you have any, or if there's any other brands of pastels that you enjoy. I'm very curious to see where I'm going to go with this, but we've already had some really nice texture explorations here. Of course, using your finger is always very fun with oil pastels. You can get some of that blurriness that is almost more similar to soft pastels, which is also kind of cool. And I hope you have a lovely day, and I will see you next time for part 2 of our unboxing. And here is a piece that I ended up making with these Neopastels after a few different experiments. You can actually see the making of on Instagram, I think, or TikTok, even though I barely use that. It was really fun. I really enjoy this set. And yeah, if you've never tried Neopastel, maybe just pick one stick or two to try them out and hopefully have some fun with it. All right, bye.